Yeah, so the park build is at 5 stars. It's just not under the conditions we want it to be. So I think here's my plan. Right. We finish up the appeal target. Species target, of course, we'll meet with Corythosaurus. And then we see what the park's income level is with small amenities. And then we strip out the small, switch over to large. We check the income level with large amenities. We use the worst of the 2 income levels as the condition for 5 stars in the campaign, which will then be updated before I update it, before I upload it to Nexus Mods. So yeah, ignore the fact that we're at 5 stars. That's not counting because this is playtesting the actual numbers here. Yeah, we're releasing new Dilophosaurs. We just had one die after I had started the new Dilos, which was fun.
The value of paleontology.
And the Corythos
For
reading.
me, the science toiled in relative obscurity. But since I created living dinosaurs, doing the impossible requires a level of excellence you can only retain if you compensate accordingly.
Yeah, you're not arrogant at all. Quillian and Calcor. I believe this is, again, a JP Institute skin. I specifically wanted to not do the JP3 skin for Corythosaurus, just as kind of a nod to the notion that the Corythosaurus from JP3 were cloned only in 1999. So doing a different skin separates out this variant of Corythosaurus, but essentially what would have been the Lost World variant, because it's canon to Lost World. God damn it, I don't care what marketing says. It separates that up from the JP3 version, which, given that most of the other JP3 designs are entirely new designs, or possibly essentially everything is new designs except for the Compy, and maybe the Rex, doing something different here makes sense. Although if I was doing Ankylosaurus, I'd definitely do the film skin, so kind of a hypocrite, but let's not worry about that. Okay, social's great. We'll want to do a few waves of these guys to make sure the herd is big enough for them to occupy the southern paddock without fragmenting. So we'll just queue up a second batch right away. Because yeah, they're going to go down here with the Kentros and the Ornithomimids. Yeah, you cohab only with the other Ornithomimosaurs. You actually like Hadros and Stegos. Great. Good. And what about you? You don't cohab at all. Okay, so that'll be great there. And then Dilos, I think we'll want to do another wave of those at some point. I think having close to double digits, or maybe just after double digits on Dilos, is probably not a bad idea. Because again, we're restricting ourselves specifically to 1 Rex. That's a condition of the campaign. So we can't clone a second Rex for that paddock. Just the one remains special. And that's our big appeal driver here. So we kind of got to make up for this pretty hefty gap in appeal through other dinosaurs. Without going over 15 species, which is going to be complicated. We could do more pterosaurs. Yeah, the margins of the Pteranodons are pretty good. 8 and 6. I mean, these aren't much better on either side. All right, we'll do another round of Pteranodon. And then 3 more eggs there on the welfare specialist seems good, and we can release these ones. So why don't we start here and just kind of expand down into the pet as we go. That way we have a little bit of a spot for food if we need it, and then we can, evaluate it from there. What vehicle is under threat here? Oh, they did hit the tour vehicle. Hoping that's not going to be much of an issue. Yeah, because it's not an aggressive one, so I'm hoping. And it's also it's a relatively short paddock, plenty of time for the cars to get out of there without taking too much damage. I think it'll be fine. Are you done? Oh yeah, you're finished. Sure wish I could tell which territory was the Kentrosaur territory. I'm just gonna put it right here. Alright, Corytho. Lonely currently. Yeah, unfortunately the Corythosaurus skins are generally pretty bad looking. Although the red hands and feet on this one's are kind of interesting. I didn't catch that in the species viewer. Interesting. Like he walked through fucking blood to get here. But yeah, this is the closest I could get to the skin I had in mind when I set this up. Fiber. Are they the first fiber eater or something in this pen? Ground leaf. Fiber. Oh, no. Fiber on the Kentros. Okay, that's fine. Oh, and this little bastard teleported over here. Let's get him. Okay, well, then we need them more central where the Kentro food is. They'll be getting into that spot soon. Yeah, they're already getting some fiber. The Ranger Team 6 thing should be fine because I've set it up to double up the Ranger jobs so that, like, if 6 can't go, the other one should go, and it should be fine. Pteranodon, 1 egg, needy nocturnal, I guess, is what it is, right?
Confirming asset delivery. Picking up asset.
To say that I have a strange relationship
another
with
new
dinosaurs
corpse.
would be
That's
an
you.
understatement.
We got a Kentrosaurus that's somehow separated from the herd. That's because all the Kentrosaurs just stay like really tight together. I don't know why some dinosaurs seem to do this, where they stay right on top of each other, and other ones just don't. It kind of gives them some personality, which would be good if the territory mechanics weren't just completely
Lost
fucked.
my life to some, and to others, I owe it. But when it comes to people,
Okay, the Corythosaur herd is doing good.
well,
At least there's
trust
that.
you.
All right, so I'm just gonna keep churning out dinosaurs here and see where our ratings get to. Actually, let's check the ratings right now real quick. So, yeah, amenities are dipping, accommodations dipped. Okay, and we need to rebalance the amenities a bit anyway. So yeah, we got some different stuff to deal with. Well, in that case, I'm thinking, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go straight to large hotel. I don't think it matters that much. So if we put a large hotel here, that can get us a little bit of visibility. We can kind of line it up with the curve, and it'll look good too. What an amazing benefit. Not only does it help visibility, it actually looks appropriate at the end of a path like that. Lovely. And then yeah, we'll need more smalls. How bad was it again? Oh yeah, definitely at least one of each. So, it currently looks good here. Problems are up in this sector. So we might not have enough space to fit them. We can fit some. Everything seems equally bad here. Doll t-shirts, so we need drinks, maybe? Drinks, food. Yeah, let's do drinks. Small drinks over here. Yeah, and these should all basically always have the same set of upgrades. Every one of these should be essentially identical. Yeah, we can still fit another one of these here, so I might as well just cram it in up here. Like, I'd rather put it somewhere where it is red. And this will be books with like a gift stand and a skeleton display. Okay, and then we can do the other one for, what, food? Yeah, there's like no room left here, and that's fine. Got a lot of demand there. Might be able to sneak it in here. Oh, awkwardly on the curve for a moment it worked. Not sure if I want to do the curve because it's kind of gross looking. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of other space. We also have demand down here. So let's just put it next to the hotel on this side of the path. How about that? We can do one here. So these ones are the ones that never quite work out. So we just do as much as we can on the orange, and well, that's a little more than I like to see. Okay, that's fine.
Don't make me regret that.
Yeah. Okay, like I think my target should really be like 95% because of the variance, so that seems pretty good. $2 million income, well over the 5-star threshold now. So yeah, let's just get some more dinosaurs out. We're gonna do another batch of Corythosaurus and copies at the same time, and then I think we'll do Dimorphodons, but we can just take care of that off screen. Well, we got that extra Pteranodon here, so we'll let him out. Still doing Lost World style Pteranodons. Yeah, margin's good enough. We can put out another like 3 of those if we really want to. I think we're going to pivot over and do a wave of Dimorphodons first, though. So we'll just queue that up. I do want to do a wave of Dilos as well. So what do we got going on over here? The answer is copy eggs on the way, more Corythosaurs. So it'll be a minute that we can do Dilos after those copies come out, and then hatch these 5 there. Okay, we've got more Corythosaurs coming out. Those copies are out. The Dimorphodons are ready too, so we'll get these guys out. We can watch a release animation. Those are always fun. There they are. Are they actually mission fish? No, they just haven't updated yet. Great. Yeah, I guess we probably don't necessarily want to add another fish feeder here if we can help it. I mean, we can. It's not a big deal. But it's something to think about. Oh, missing fish. Nope, it's just a liar. Classic JWE. Alright, well, contract available. I guess we could take a peek at that. Didn't even know we finished the other one, but that's fine. This finances more dinosaurs. Prove your revenue. Sell, construct. What do you want me to build? Operational viewing platform. Sure, easy. Alright. Still airlifting those copies. I think it's because they have to come out 5 at a time. That kind of makes it take forever. Honestly, a viewing platform could be good. Yeah, we can just put in a viewing platform. I want it not on the fence, I think, just to improve the arc.
What I like about building construction is that it requires planning.
Yeah,
and
let's
thought.
do that.
And I've
Honestly,
always
yeah, just
loved
gonna keep
seeing
this in
things
here. This
become
seems
something
fine.
From nothing. I think that's what first
I'm
attracted
okay
me
with
to
that.
InGen.
That's a little bit more visibility to try and improve things. Do we want a remote viewing gallery down here too, maybe? This is all out of view. I think we do. We do this. We can sneak it in here, which is fine. We just stretch it all the way over here. Yeah, that like gets this lake. It gets the corner of the berry pen. No, this is pretty good. Yeah, definitely do that. We have power too, so that's fine. Okay. So, where does that leave us at? 66% appeal. Climbing nicely. 15 species. Yeah, we just need to hit that 100%, and then I'm happy. Visibility. 105 out of 137. That's really bad. But really can't do that much about it. I think this doesn't dynamically update up here. This is total appeal, not just, like, visibility. Yeah, because this is 9,355. And if we just, like, come back later, it should be the same.
That is how you get it
Well,
done.
I mean, it changes because we got dinosaurs releasing, but... no, maybe that is dynamic. 92.50. 106 out of 137. Must have died. I will just have to keep an eye on it every now and then, I guess, and see, like, how it changes. Like, this berry's coming into view here. These ones are in view. Look at it right now. Okay, no, it is dynamic. There is no instantaneous total appeal of the park. It does dynamically update with visibility, even up here and down here at the same time. So we'd have to do the math. I mean, right now, recent appeal changes. The Rex is in view. So this is probably what it's at. So we need like 4,000 more appeal. So we want more Dilos, probably more Herrerasaurs. We can do more like Euoplos and Triceratopses. Speaking of, what are you missing? You're missing ground leaf. Just sneak it in some like random spots. That's fine. Trikes might have a better margin, yeah, by far. But we have a lot of ground fiber that we can just replace to get the Euoplos happy. So we could do a wave of each. That wouldn't be too bad. So we're going to do Dilos first. It's just a 3. Then we'll do Herreras. And then we'll do Trikes and Euoplos. And then we'll see where we're at. That's the plan. Okay, we've turned out a bunch more dinosaurs here off screen for quite a while. We're up to 157 dinosaurs in the park. Appeal around 90%. I think we want to adjust the appeal total here. I think 1,400 is too high. So 1,300 might be better. 1,300 is kind of 1,400 with tours as a visibility penalty. So I think it makes sense. So the original choice to do 1,400 was me actually taking like a pretend roster for Jurassic Park 1993 and calculating the appeal based on the film canon species, using Coelophysis in place of Stegosaurus and Corythosaurus instead of Compsognathus, and just picking population numbers that seemed reasonable or were from canon when they're actually species from canon. Yeah, so I just tallied all that up, or canon or semi-canon sources, and I tallied all that up, and it was like a little over 1,400. So I'm like, 1,400. But for the size of the park, 1,400 feels a little bit too big. Let's pause here. We don't need shit dying. So currently, the amount of dinosaurs I see in the park here, I think is pretty good, bordering on too many. The amenity levels, 94%, 97% feels about right. So I think this is a good place to take a threshold for the economy. And do the test as we switch to large amenities as well. So currently, let's write down some numbers. All right, we need to track this. So we're talking 90% appeal. And we're looking at amenity ratings of 94 to 97%. That should be enough to get a threshold for like the difference. And then our profit per minute is 574,027, and our income is 2 mil. Let's just call it 2,500,000. Well, no, let's keep the real number, 491, because we want to do a direct comparison. So that's what things look like here. Now let's do a final quotation marks population tally for this too. So 6 Pteranodons, 16 Dimorphodons, necessitating a second aquatic feeder, a fish feeder. In terms of population here, we can't see because we have Euoplos in there. Yeah. Right. Okay, we'll come back to that. So this is a sandbox park build still. So one thing we can do is while we evaluate these choices, let's turn on infinite lifespan. So we don't have to deal with deaths like messing up the math as we test out these end states. Did that save? Something popped on the screen. I ignored it, so I don't know what it was. Unlimited. Okay. Great. So we want to do a save state, which is already saving apparently. We saw that in the corner of the screen. I need to like delete saves because my save progress here is pretty slow, which is unfortunate. Okay, now I'm gonna go through and we're gonna delete all these amenities and change them to mediums. So we can, oh, also, what was the rating? No config issues across the board. Fantastic. So these now delete instantly, so that's one upside. That's just a change they made. Was that last update before decorations, I think? So I'm gonna pause. We're gonna strip all these out. We're gonna go from there. So these numbers should be good now. This is with the large amenities. 3 sets of large gets us back to about 96 to 97, which is actually slightly higher than what we were at before. These ratings are still good. We look at the financial screen. Profit per minute is down to 406 from 574. That's pretty goddamn substantial. And we're at higher ratings. That's kind of crazy, actually. What's our appeal? Appeal looks to be quite down, though, actually. So this is not completely trustworthy. We'll have to check this again later. I think we can believe that this is worse, though. Income, 180. That's, yeah, like 600k less income. And does this even save on power? These are 5 apiece. And these are 1. I don't think it even saves on power demand, right? Because these were like 200 apiece in terms of people. If this is 5 times as much power for 900, it's like 180 to 200, I think, on a small, depending on the upgrades. So yeah, it doesn't even save you in terms of power demand. I don't think there's any point in using large amenities unless your park is just has to be compact, which sometimes is true. I mean, we definitely need to get this park at a higher appeal total just in terms of visibility and double check it again. But yeah, I'm gonna wait to get around 90% appeal and see what happens. One additional thing to point out here in the middle of all of this, we can answer the question on if this viewing dome in here can get damaged and if it can be repaired. And the answer to both of those things is yes and no. It can be damaged, it cannot be repaired. So there's the downside of putting the viewing dome inside of the aviary. Hopefully in the future Frontier notices that, or somebody tells them, or I tell them, but I'm not gonna. And they make it so the drone can do repairs maybe inside, because it kind of sucks that there's no way to fix this. It's really unfortunate. But I mean, we've had it in there the whole time. It's only just gotten damaged, so I guess it might be okay. You also might be able to reach it just by car. Let's check that. Like, you might be able to position it close enough to the perimeter that you can sneak the car up to the wall and still reach it. But we can't. We definitely can't. But maybe if you put it, you know, if we had put it closer to the wall, it might have worked. So keep that in mind in the future building aviaries. In terms of the park, we did have a storm, so we're still waiting on recovery. We don't have the appeal total we want to evaluate the amenities fully yet. But we did get the Euoplos out, so we can at least do a population count here too. So this is the canon population, including the Euoplocephalus, in my opinion. 5 berries, 3 brachis, 20 compies, 14 Corythosaurus, 13 Dilos, 5 Euoplo, 20 galleys, 20 and 20, fun. 10 Herrera, 11 Kentra, 18 Parasaurs, 12 Struthiomimus, 5 Trikes, 1 Tyrannosaurus. And then, of course, the Pteranodons and the Dimorphodons from last time. We'll do them again. 6 Pteranodons, 16 Dimorphodons. And that is our Jurassic Park. So, I'm not going to update the code for this video. I'm going to work on it afterwards. But, yeah. For the released version, the update will be definitely shifted to be 1300 appeal, I think. Maybe let's do 12,500 appeal. We'll do 12,500 instead of 1300, because I think just shaving off 1,000 appeal is still going to be a little busy. Like 1,000 appeal is 10 dinosaurs. We take out, 2 here. We take out half the Dilos, the Herreras. That's like, yeah, we got a really crowded aviary. I think removing 1,500 appeal from the total is correct. And then in terms of the profit, that's just going to be the difference between the two. So we're going to have to let the park stabilize to check that. So we've got an interesting result here of the science experiment. Appeals at 88%. Amenity ratings are 95 to 97%. And looking at the financial tab, profits are actually back up above where they were at with the small amenities. We're looking at 598,434 versus 574,000. Income is lower. Income is actually 1,949. which is substantially lower, which means the difference has to be in the upkeep, which I didn't write down. So the upkeep here is 1,350 and 987. Or 1,350,987. I'll have to reload and check the other one. I also want to let this run for a moment to make sure it's actually even fully updated. But it looks like the assumption that small amenities were better was not true. And the difference is in the upkeep cost, not the income. Now, this is actually really interesting because this means you can cheese a challenge mode by using small amenities. You make the same amount of money. Actually, yeah, no, actually, that means small amenities are still the correct thing. Yeah, small amenities is the correct play because income determines your star rating, not profit. So you want to use small amenities to generate the highest amount of income because it doesn't actually hurt your profit as we've shown here. Or if it does hurt your profit, it hurts it by, like, what is the difference between these two? It's like 5% or something. It's small. So yeah, I would say that the small damage to profits, if it's even real, because there's enough other variables here we can't really say for sure, is absolutely worth it in a challenge mode to get the star rating up quicker. It's very interesting how they decide to balance this. Very curious about that one. It's good, I guess, that they're basically the same. That, like, the choice is, in terms of profits, makes no difference. It's essentially space saving versus your star rating on income, which is just a very interesting way to do it. We pop back here now, 88% appeal. Boop. This is still okay. Profit per minute 673. Okay. Upkeep has changed slightly too. So I think upkeep must scale slightly with the amount of people involved in things. Let's write down the amenity as well, which is 112,482. Okay, so maybe we'll have to take back what we had said previously. Amenity revenue. So amenity upkeep 1-1, amenity revenue 639,946 now. So those are the numbers we really need to compare. Just the gain versus loss on amenities. I'm glad we did this experiment. This has actually turned out to be much more interesting. I thought it might have been, it felt like it was going to be much more straightforward, but it's actually much more subtle. I'm going to let the game run for a few minutes to make sure that's fully updated. Okay, we don't even have to let it run for that long. It actually flattened out basically while we were talking. So 665 seems like the real thing here. The 665 profit versus 574, and that's a substantial difference. The amenity flattened out at about 658. So that is up from what we were looking at before, 639. So 658, 172 with a cost of 112.42, which has not changed. I wonder if that dynamic updates more dynamically. And then I'm going to load the old save. One more thing before we load the other save. The income is still lower. So we weren't correct on the how low, but the point does stand that you do make more money with small amenities in terms of income. You just make substantially less profit. Now that's a balance I like, because that means in challenge mode, if you're just trying to get that 5th star and you got a little bit of money to play with, playing with small amenities versus large to massage the numbers actually works. So that's cool. I like this balance. I like the way they did this. This is good. Another cool thing to note, upon loading into the save, it resets all the tours. We know that this is a problem with the game that exists, right? Your tour car positions are not saved in your save state. They're generated like dynamically or whatever when the game runs. But the chart here, if you pause right when you load in, shows what the stats were when you made the save. So even though visibility currently is tanked in this park, we do get the original numbers back. And we can see that the amenity running cost is 4,401. So it is the upkeep cost of the amenities that makes the difference here between the small and the large. And that's probably mostly, I would imagine, down to the fact that we need just many more amenities in the park. So maybe the amenity running cost is essentially flat, or maybe even scales upward as you go up to larger amenities, but it scales at a rate that makes up makes up for it. Makes up for the lowered income and everything. So yeah, this is great. This restores some of my faith in the game design decisions in the game, which is cool. Yeah, because the total upkeep here is like 600k more, 550,000 additional upkeep. And so both of these parks with small versus large amenities break 2 mil income. So 2 mil is about right for the number. It was originally 1 mil 800,000, so I was actually pretty close in terms of my testing estimate, which was based on like a challenge mode or something that we had picked up. Now the question is, how difficult do we want the campaign to actually be, right? And so I think we should use maybe 1 mil 900,000. Make it a little easier on people. So I think we'll do that. But it's like, especially if you want to rely on the tour and not use like remote viewing galleries to the extent that I've used them, you're going to really suffer to get visibility up. So yeah. So yeah, that seems to be the situation. We sorted out the amenity science. That's great. And the last thing to do would be to maybe tour the park. So we can do that. So yeah, I'm gonna change some stuff around here and we'll do a quick little park tour to wrap this episode up, and then we'll move on to campaign part 2. We'll do an overview at the end of what's gonna go into the next section. So we'll tour this version of the park because we originally set it up to be with the small amenities. So we arrive at Jurassic Park. Oh, yeah, there we go. Can we hide the UI in this mode? Yeah, we can. Cool. You walk past a few basic facilities. I mean, the design in terms of what we did for the building layouts beyond the initial layout was not really like something we had really finely tuned, like where things were going. We just kind of built, right? Play it like we play a campaign in the base game where you just play to win. You don't worry about the aesthetics a super lot. We could see the hotel over that little ridge. Oh, shoot. I knew the storm was coming in. All right, well, let's pick the tour up from here. Actually, can I just turn off the weather? Does this work? Or is it too late? Well, back to our tour. Oh, there's the survival bunker. The it actually looks kind of out of place with the plants just kind of growing out of the side. It looks a little weird. But that's because we're in, first person mode up close. At least the door is the right size.
Please proceed to cover and remain there until the hurricane subsides.
Yeah, it seems like we're too late on the storm. Are we? Yes. Yes, we are. Alright, well, through the magic of editing, we'll get rid of the storm. Well, all the amenities changed to large amenities. That's weird. How about that? Okay. Anyway, the storm is gone. That's the key part. We're not going to go check out all the individual attractions. Let's just ride the tour. I think we could have done this visitor center frontage a little bit better. Like, I don't like the dip here for the tour track. I'll probably redesign this before I send the map out for the Nexus mod version. Oh, cool that you can still click on that even though the UI is gone. Oh, but it just has you drive it. Yeah, we want to... Oops. Ride park tour.
Hurricanes can cause significant disruption and destruction. It is not our intention to worry you, but to help prepare you for potentially dangerous conditions.
That shadow is hardcore on that plant there. You see that in the water? I hope this isn't a sign of a storm coming in. I turned off weather, but if there was one on the way, as we just saw, it'll happen. Yeah, we get a nice view of the visitor center on the other side of the water, which is probably something they actually had in the park, since the tour cars come in a specific direction that doesn't lead towards the park. Like, the tour cars come from the direction of the paddocks, and then depart away from the paddock, so they must have a switchback like this. Maybe just a loop that sends them back onto the track in the other direction. It's entirely possible. We have to do double gates because there's no option to connect the paths together in this. You could do it with mods, but they're non-functional. So you can make it look correct, but it won't work. At least that's how I understand it. I've never done it myself. Yeah, it's kind of immersion breaking, or that as you approach the gate, you actually have a path crossing here with people everywhere and buildings right next to the cars. But, I mean, just because it wasn't there in 1993 doesn't mean it wouldn't have been there in 1994, right? And I would say canonically, like for our canon for the campaign, by the time we finished it, we're at like 1997, right? So this is Jurassic Park as it stands in 1997. So once this park is completed and in its final state, you know, conceptually we'd be going to Sorna to reclaim that. However many years after it was destroyed by, or abandoned after being destroyed by Hurricane Carissa, I think, in film canon. I think that's the hurricane name. What do they got in there? King Kong? Okay, fantastic. We did it. Yeah, so we're basically entering Sorna in the same state it was in the film, but under completely different conditions in the campaign. There's the 1993 Para and an intervening Jeep. Classic. Startling the Paras. We got all three Brachys right here. That's really nice. Oh, can you see it through the sunroof as we drive under it? That's so good. Yeah. Look at that shit. Damn, really do be Jurassic Park. Holy smokes. And the texture resolution's about as good as the texture resolution of the CGI Brachii in the film, too. Awesome. It's very realistic. I dropped some shade on that, but Jurassic Park is by far the best film in the franchise. And the one or two scenes with dated CGI, it's fine. It doesn't look that bad. And there's plenty of scenes where the CGI holds up fantastically. So it's really just like the Brachii in that one scene. Oh God. And then some of like the composition of the CGI with the environment, like with the raptors. The feet slide a little bit on the surfaces. Totally forgivable stuff for 93, but it's like, to say it's flawless, it's just inaccurate. It's a flawless movie, but the CGI is not flawless. Exactly that. It's actually, I would also say, as much as I love Jurassic Park, and it's like probably my second favorite movie of all time, it's not quite flawless. In fact, the biggest complaint I have with the film is what we're in right now. The layout of the goddamn park. It's so inconsistent. Where is any of this shit actually in the film? Like, the notion that the tour starts with Dilophosaurus, then Tyrannosaurus, and then Trike and doubles back because they turn around makes no sense with like any map seen in the film. It doesn't make, like, the best you can do is have it go down through the southern paddock and have the dilos on a little side paddock, which is what we started with, a little side paddock at the very start. But then there's like a vast stretch of nothing before you get all the way to the other side of the island to see the Tyrannosaurus. So you're just driving through a field like this for like an hour and there's just no dinosaurs, and that's part of the tour. It makes no fucking sense. And then they have to turn around to make it back to the visitor center before the hurricane comes in, except the Triceratops paddock is more than halfway around the loop. It makes more sense to keep going if the Triceratops paddock is actually where it is in the film. So that's a problem. And you can like pretend or decide that the tour route is different than what's on the map, and that there's like maybe tunnels they go through. But you see in the film the car positions on the computer screens twice. So we see that canonically the Tyrannosaurus enclosure is on the far side of the island. And we see that the tour cars, as they leave the visitor center, they go south through the park. They don't go north to the Dilo enclosure. The Dilo enclosure as it's marked on the map. So it can't be an issue of them going like into the Dilo enclosure and it being on the opposite side of the car that you'd expect, and then going through a tunnel to the Rex Pen. Because we know the status monitors show where the cars go. And it's just like, there's no way to fix it. It's actually an impossible scenario in the film. There's no map of Jurassic Park that ever makes sense with the events that as they play out on screen sequentially, because the events as they play out on screen are inconsistent with each other. The position of the cars versus what we see versus the computer maps is completely wrong. So one thing I've wanted to do is to do a JP Park build that just fucking ignores the computer monitors entirely. And you could maybe make that work by just saying as headcanon that, like, okay, maybe the layout of fences is correct. And some people say that maybe it's just the fence grids and not the actual fences themselves, i.e. like separate power grids on the island. And you just make the assumption that like the grid name or the pen name doesn't actually correspond to the species currently in the pen. Maybe it's like an original plan they had, and then, you know, they never bothered in the code to change the name for the Tyrannosaurus paddock, even though they put Metriacanthosaurus in instead or something like that, right? And then you have to ignore the car placement on the monitors. You just assume it's a bug, right? The car actually isn't on the other side of the island, just the display is broken. Also, did we see any dinosaurs in that last pen? I don't even know. Now we're in the reserve paddock. But, yeah, you'd have to put, like... Oh, the window broke on the car. Did you see that? The back window was shattered. That's cool. Oh, are we gonna get fucking stuck now? Why does this happen with, like, half the tours we have? Oh, no, we're moving. Good. Yeah, don't panic, even though the back windshield of the car in front of you is fucking shattered by a Baryonyx. Classic JP. Leave me alone. I'm just a tour person. There are nowhere near 100 teeth in that Baryonyx. The film Baryonyx has nowhere near 100 teeth. I refuse to believe that. That's like a real Baryonyx fact, because those guys got little Spinosaur teeth, little fish-eating teeth. Well, not little. Little for, you know, relative dinosaur size. You can't be here. The Herrerasaurus must have clipped through the fence. Because we never go into the Herrerasaur pen. So somehow 2 Herrerasaurs have clipped through the fence. We're just ignoring that. That didn't happen. What are you talking about? They'll fight the Baryonyx and get killed and eaten. Unless there's like a gate down? But I don't think we even have a gate that goes into this reserve paddock from the Raptor/Herrera paddock. Raptor paddock in the film computer maps, if you believe those. But yeah, it'd be fun to do a park build for Jurassic Park that, like, tries to just make the film events make sense and not worry so much about the map layout on computer screens. Just assume that they're full of shit. That they're placeholder, basically, that they haven't been finalized, right? Which might be true, because the Jurassic Park in the film is supposed to only be partially complete, and it's entirely reasonable to assume they're still moving species around. Although it's weird that you'd, you know, move the T-Rex, because that seems dangerous, but who knows? I guess if the paddock the Rex is in the film, if you assume that to be the correct, like the new placement, and the paddock as it's defined on the computer monitors to be the original intended emplacement that they changed, that would work. Like, the Rex is in her final enclosure. It's just not the Tyrannosaurus paddock. Yeah. Like, I suppose you could headcanon that the car placement, as it's shown on the maps in the control room, is not tied to the placement of the car. It's tied to, like, the tour program, right? So you have 7 paddocks or whatever it is, right? Then you have a tour program, like a voiceover thing that's played on the CD-ROM in the car, right down there on the console, for each paddock. And then for your computer program, instead of trying to track the position of the car, which would require GPS tracking or something, you just see what tour program is playing, and then you map the car position to the tour, the program. And so if the T-Rex is placed in a different paddock, then the T-Rex tour program voiceover plays in a different area of the park,
Despite its minute size,
and
Compsognathus
it would result in the car being displayed on the computer monitor. Oh shit, the Rex is here. Damn. It would result in the car in the control room being shown as being where the original Rex pen is, even though it's in the new Rex pen. We could use that as like our justification for making the change if we ever do another JP rebuild. Well, the Rex just fucked off as soon as she saw the car coming, but at least we got a good glimpse of her. And there's the compies. You can actually see them. That's cool. All right. Well, we'll finish up the tour, although we did miss a bunch of herbivore species by basically talking through the entire southern paddock, but oh well. That's fine. The southern paddock is like the most controversial one in terms of what species are put in there and where they are.
50 million years ago, Compsognathus thrived as one of the top land predators in a rather unfamiliar European landscape. A dry, tropical archipelago with lagoons, beaches, and coral.
I've never heard that voiceover line before there about Compy. It tracks with what I know about like Mesozoic Europe. So, oh my god, that's one big pile of shit. Stare into the camera, dead expression. Yep. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, one thing we definitely need is better mountains. Like, these mountains are kind of dog shit.
To mitigate damage and injury during a hurricane strike. Our weather forecasts provide us with a small degree of advance warning, allowing us time to relay any important instructions.
Maybe if we had like a bigger Nublar map trying to actually recreate the film, you could just have it so the map boundaries are set up in such a way where we can have large large mountains by the Rex pen and the reserve paddock, and maybe like make some concessions to geography to have them actually be outside the border and be like these big mountains you get on like the side of the map border. But also, like, you can make mountains like this with terrain tool mods, so maybe that's the real key.
Recognized as the leader. However, not all changes in leadership are the result of conflict.
Okay, I think I see a Euopla way back there. Oh, here's one. I really like the Euoplocephalus. It's a really nice dinosaur. This is a pretty good skin for it. I like the blue. It's nice and subtle, that blue stripe. It's right in front of you. Don't look over there. That's just... He's looking for that second pile of shit. He's like, I know there's more shit in here. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm here for. I don't give a shit about dinosaur. I give a shit about shit. Honestly, if there's one thing Jurassic World did well, it was giving Ankylosaurids more screen time.
Euoplocephalus is not
It's kind of a shame that we didn't get one until JP3. Although the JP3 design's great. Could be better. You take the JP3 Anky colors and you put it on a dinosaur model that looks like the Euoplocephalus. Like a more realistic Ankylosaur than the one in the film. And then you got like chef's kiss, like beautiful shit. Because I love the fucking color palette of the JP3 Anky. That's my favorite JP3 dinosaur by far. Followed by probably the Ceratosaurus now, but like that's mostly a Jurassic World Evolution thing. I really like the Cerato in Jurassic World Evolution, and it's really not accurate to the screen. They changed that pretty decently. That's one that I don't mind them changing though. Like the one in game looks so much better. Alright, well, here's the final paddock on our tour, the Dilophosaurus paddock. I feel like we didn't put nearly enough trees in this. It's like not accurate to the film. Well, no, that's fine, because the Dilophosaurus paddock in the film is the one that was in the Brachiosaurus, and that one was full of trees. So this is like the main secondary, or like the primary Dilopen, and that was the secondary one, and this one has more open space to get a better look at the Dilophosaurus, right? That's good headcanon. Oh, one other thing about the paddocks that we'll probably do if we ever do a rebuild. The original intended map of Jurassic Park, like in the script and in production notes, is to have a carnivore section and an herbivore section. And you could see that on like the CD-ROM maps and like the brochure map. Maybe not the brochure map as much, but definitely the CD-ROM map. And so the idea there would be you'd start with the herbivore area and then go into the carnivore area, then probably double back to the herbivore area as you head out. And I think that'd be really cool to build for like a JP rebuild tour. Do that. And there's even like a production note you can find online where they're like, somebody suggests to Spielberg or the film editor, whoever that is, to like move the Triceratops scene around so that the map geography makes more sense. But I think Spielberg and or the editor is just like, the story works better if we have the trike scene here. And then they double back. And so like, I think the whole sequence of the park tour is made in editing and not in like planning, right? They didn't plan to have the tour go Dilo, Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops. That came about in editing, I would bet. Well, we got a good look at the Dilos, at least. This fence is way too tall, but it's the best we can do. We need a short variation of this, like, Y-topped fence. There's the lovely, lovely Jurassic Park game. Yeah, decoration pack was great, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, well, 50 minutes. That's a full, nice episode. I don't think we need to... They're a feral goat. We had a few goats escape through broken gates, so it's really funny that we actually saw a goat as we left the carnivore pens and the paddocks in general. Oh no, this is the Brachie pen. There's a goat in the Brachiosaurus pen. Oh, that's even funnier. Oh, we get a nice another final view of the Brachie over there in the distance as the tour wraps up. Cool. All right, so we can talk. We let the tour finish up while we talk about what goes on as we transition to the second stage of the campaign. So, DNA progress is going to transfer, and research progress is going to transfer. And in order to do that, I'm going to just boot the park build up in Sandbox, and we're going to have to dig up the fossils, process them to catch up to where we were, and do the research as well to catch up to where we were before we start the build, basically. Which is not the best way to do it, but that's the only way we can simulate the campaign as the concept stands, right? So, especially from the view of YouTube, it'll basically be seamless because none of that will be recorded because that's all prep work. But from the point of view of any of you who want to play it as a full campaign, yeah, it'll take a little bit of legwork between stages for you to, get things to the base condition. And I could make it so that the research unlocks automatically, but then it would have to be like one set of research you'd have to complete. And I don't think that's worth doing. It would also be like an edit to the research trees that would apply to all Sandbox builds, and I think that would not be the best either. So yeah, that's the way it's going to work. We'll have to do the prep work for all that, and that's true of also you guys. Holy shit. Oh, because the UI was suppressed, so we never saw the notifications. Holy smokes, what the fuck happened? Salmonella. Oh god. Holy shit. Died in a fight with a Herrerasaurus? Wait, a Herrerasaurus killed the Baryonyx? How in the fuck, my boys? Herreras. Oh my god. The park is a disaster. We're just having a nice, peaceful tour. I mean, we knew as soon as we saw the Herrerasaurus that, like, something was up. Things are bad. So, my guess would be they got salmonella and attacked the fences? I don't know if they do that. Maybe there was one with rabies and the salmonella is entirely incidental. That could be the case. Because this one is undiagnosed ailment. I bet you this one is rabid. He looks fucking angry. He looks like he's got rabies, huh? Let's see. Let's find out. I want to know if he's got rabies. I want to know if that's what actually happened here. It's gonna take a while. Do I care that much? This is hilarious. This is a true Jurassic Park moment. You look away for a moment and it's just chaos. And like the territory thing where like overlapping territories that are negative, and then they have a fight for dominance. They'll carve out like a void in the territory. That's just such a bad mechanic too. That doesn't do anything. It's just, yeah. They still need to rework territory mechanics a bit. Speed up here. Tell me if this guy's got rabies. I can't leave you all in the hang. Well, he died on us. But it says die from salmonella on everything. So I guess they died from salmonella? So the mystery remains of what the fuck happened here. Weird. I don't know how the fence got down. I mean, it's understandable that they would destroy the fences afterwards because the comfort's negative from the cohabitation. So, like, both the Baryonyx and the Herreras have probably been smacking fences when we did the tour. But how did the original fence segment go down? That's the real question. Or maybe those two Herrerasaurs we saw did phase through the fence, and then when they came into conflict with the Baryonyxes, their comfort went negative, because that's definitely what happened. And then that resulted in the fences going down afterwards, and the two groups mingling even more. I also am very amused that there's just a destroyed ranger team in the middle of this. Like, what was he doing here? What happened to him? Well, anyway, none of this is canon. So. All right. Yeah, so next time we'll get to part 2, Easelsorna in 1997.